The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digital.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally, Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short break. We are still sailing smoothly into this conversation. We are talking about youth and power. How better can the youth influence policies towards a political transition in Uganda here? How best can it be done? We are talking about matters regarding the youth. If you're a youth out there, this conversation is for us, you and I believe we are all connected to the youth somehow. Whether if you are not a youth, maybe your children are young and they are youth. So this conversation is for all of us, and it is not limited by borders. Even some people watching us from outside Uganda, we believe it is important as well. The youth must be involved in any developmental idea, policy that contributes to the development of their country. Even in other initiatives by these international organizations, we have had a sustainable development goals, trying to work upon climate change, promote human rights here and there. And the youth are always the first priority, or the first individual groups that are thought of when it comes to make ensure that there is a development, or these sustainable development goals are achieved. That proves how important the youth can be in any society. In everything, if we lack the youth, maybe we can't move smoothly. They make the largest percentage of the most of the countries here in Africa. They pay taxes. They are the strong people who can at least provide labor and enable smooth running of even other institutions. So it is very important to have a discussion that is centered about our brothers and sisters out there, the youth, or our children. If you are a parent and you have a son who is a youth or a daughter, this conversation matters to all of us. If you are just tuning in, this is the Alternative Dig Talk TV, Uganda's leading online platform that prioritizes matters of national importance. We are trusted by millions and millions of people. So feel free to tap that subscribe button, join us and be part of this mighty platform. We will not let you down. We'll keep you inspired, educated, as well as keep you informed. Now in the studios, I have been honored. We are still having Mr. Abeneitwe, Manful. He's the Western Youth MP candidate from the Forum for Democratic Change. That is, if he is given that mandate. And we are discussing matters regarding the youth, like I told you. Before we went in for the break, Mr. Abeneitwe, we talked about the youth, and somehow some individuals have been saying that these youth are viewed as a threat to the ruling government, especially the youth in opposition. What do you have to comment on that?
It's right that youth are seen as a threat, especially when they decide to belong to opposition political parties. The role of the opposition political parties, one is to do the checks and balances in the ruling government or in the ruling party, and then to be on standby as the alternative government. So regimes, especially those that are dictatorial, including the NRM, operates in such kind of manner, seeing youth in opposition political parties as threats, because they understand that they have led us for quite a good time, and they understand that there are issues, especially concerning the youth, that they have failed to achieve. So that's how they see the youth in opposition political parties as a threat, because they understand that the youth have the energy, the youth can wake up one day and
Change
do anything. When I speak about the dictatorial regimes, when you look at the recent concluded election in Tanzania, where His Excellency Samia was announced a winner, saying that, I saw her writing that she had a landslide victory. After looking down the leading opposition political party, which is Chadema, after arresting their chairman, the Honorable Tundu Lissu, over treason charges, like what we are seeing here. We are into an election, and Dr. Kizza Besigye is in prison over the same charges. You are looking down because that is what we call dictatorship. Chadema was banned not to contest in the election. Not only their president or their leader was arrested and couldn't be allowed to contest for presidency, but even the young people were locked down not to contest because their political party was banned from involving itself in the election. Now, Chadema being a leading opposition political party in Tanzania, is High Excellence actually Samia saw it as a threat, because Chadema has majority of the youth. Actually, as a youth leader in FDC, you know, I get in touch with other, you know, opposition political party youth leagues. So I have all that information, and I understand that Chadema being a leading opposition party, the majority of the people in that political party are youth. Same applies to us here. Because, like I said, when you look at the arrests that happen, actually they don't arrest old people. Majority of the political prisoners are young boys and girls. That's how threatened the dictatorial regime becomes when it comes to the youth who are in opposition political parties. Because as opposition political parties, I said, they are always standby generators, you know, as alternative governments. So that's how us being seen as threats in opposition becomes. However, on that same issue, because in 2023, I contested for chairperson of the FDC National Youth League, which election I did not win. But one of my agendas was to bring on board all the youth leagues of the political parties, not only opposition actually, but even the ruling government. Because as youth, we face the same things, and it is incumbent on to us, like we are saying about political transition, it is incumbent on to us to prepare for that. So that, you know, inter-party youth league dialogues, that is what I had wanted to prioritize if I had given an opportunity to be the chairperson of the FDC National Youth League. Because we need that. We come on the same table, you know, we look at how we can move as a generation for the good of our country.
About the youth now involvement, maybe even in leadership, we can't miss a point of maybe election, because this is a process that brings them into power somewhere. Is there a need for electoral reforms here in the country? Because you're talking about the Tanzania opposition leader Tundu Lissu and his party. The problem was that, according to state officials in Tanzania, they say they refused to sign the oath of allegiance, where, according to the Constitution of the Republic of Tanzania, one is not allowed to reject or disagree with the results that have been declared by the Electoral Commission of their country. If the leader is declared, there is no option for rejecting or maybe disagreeing with the results, which the Chadema party was saying is something that should be changed. They needed reforms. And now, because that was not Samia Suluhu's initiative, it had been there. Some people said that it was there to keep the Chama cha Mapinduzi in power, to keep that monopoly in leadership. In Uganda here, do we see that as maybe one of the foundations for the youth to now take over power in those top positions? Do we see a need for electoral reforms in any way such that these youth can be empowered, or we are good to go with what we have already?
The political system in a majority of our countries, especially in East Africa, need reforms, electoral reforms. That's true, and that's how the Chadema ended up saying that no reforms, no election. And I take this opportunity to thank the leader of the Democratic Front, the Right Honorable Mathias Mpuga, because of recent, in the past 1 year, has been the great voice towards electoral reforms. And maybe, because of political indifferences that we have, even internal things in our political parties, some of the opposition political leaders did not buy, did not support him. But in reality, we need electoral reforms. We can't negotiate about that. When you look at the electoral commission, you end up being put to test over competence. That's how we have petitions at the electoral commission. Every time a petition comes in, restructuring, reorganizing the electoral commission can be part of the reforms that we should all yearn for. Because reforms help us in preparation of the election, which most of the electoral commissions actually across the entire world say free and fair, and call themselves independent electoral commission. Yet their competence lacks, or you find it is not what it should be. So I agree that reforms are needed, and we should push this agenda as the youth.
Where could that reform be needed? Is it maybe the money that is asked from the candidates, those aspiring candidates? Where is the ground unfavorable for the youth, especially, that needs to be reformed in the electoral commission? Some of the things you look at and say, like, this does not favor the youth, this does not favor the youth, maybe it should be changed. Where could be some of those, at least notable areas for the government or any person watching us to know that needs a reform?
For the first time, I think if I can recall the past 4 or 3 elections that we have had here in Uganda, I saw this election having no independent presidential candidate. All the 8 candidates that we have are flag bearers of various political parties. And we had the youth who were willing to contest in that election, to show their capacity, to show their potential, and to call upon the youth to prepare for the good of their country. And they were locked outside. We need to be, considered, because the Constitution gives us mandate to contest for any political position, as long as you are above 18 years and as long as you can meet the qualifications that are required by the law. When you speak about the money, I've already said that our politics in Uganda have been over-monetized. We have failed to regulate over-monetization of politics in Uganda. That's the role of the Electoral Commission as a chief regulator of this habit that keeps on increasing day in, day out. That will help us as the youth. When you regulate the over-monetization of politics, like I said now, contesting for a youth MP, you need to be, your net worth should be, or what you should be preparing to invest or to use, not investing, because seeking for a political position is not an investment. But what you are to use in this current political era that we have in Uganda is close to 1 billion and plus. But when we get that regulated, then majority of the youth will show up, and some fear, they have potential, they have the knowledge, but they are fearing the monetization of politics. When you look at nomination fee, nomination fee, because as a member of parliament candidate for the special interest group, the youth, I paid 3 million, and my colleagues also paid 3 million. Now why? If you say that This is a position for the youth. Why can't you give them a favor? You know, and you reduce maybe on their nomination fee.
Because of their financial capacity.
Yes, because
since
of
the youth
their-
are known not to have much in
Yes.
terms of finances.
So that's how, when these reforms come on board, that's how we shall benefit or we shall be considered as the youth.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is Mr. Abeneitwe Manful. We are still talking about youth and power. How best can the youth now be involved in decisions made in their own country? How can they shape the future for their country or countries, depending on where you're watching us from? Here we are coming to you live from Uganda's capital, Kampala, but you could be watching this show when you are a Tanzanian, a Kenyan, because we are borderless. As an online platform, this conversation can reach as far as maybe the globe is concerned. The entire continent, even the entire world can get to see this message. And we are talking about the youth and how they can be involved in decisions made in their countries. How can they be part of the policies that in their governments or in their countries? How can they influence policies? What should they do? Where are they going wrong? What are some of the mistakes that are being made by our brothers and sisters, the youth, and where do they need to correct? And that is Mr. Abeneitwe Manful for you and I to be part of the conversation. Drop in your comments. We will be taking a look at some of them if time does allow us. And we are streaming live from all our social media handles at the Alternative Digital TV. If you enjoy these conversations, you can see our other uploaded content on interviews with other people, and even this very discussion will stay online, so you can watch this at any time you wish to watch it. You can save it for later, and you can even share to a friend. This conversation is for all of us to benefit, regardless of the political affiliations. It is for all of us to learn and share knowledge. How can our brothers and sisters, the youth, be part of the very system? Because we are human beings, we live and die. If the people in power are no more, do we see any youth coming up, taking over those positions without us sliding backwards in terms of development? Do we have the youth of that caliber who can pick from where the system or the development is and push it forward? Or because we need our youth, our brothers and sisters, to be prepared enough such that if any time, because transition happens at any time and at any level. So whether it is the chairperson of C5 and we are seeing someone coming in there, taking that position, do we see our youth taking over that position successfully, or they take it for some short time and now the challenges are more worse than those that were there previously, and we are sliding backwards in terms of development? To prevent that, we bring conversations like this for you and I to learn, share knowledge, and know what is necessary. Where do we need to work upon as the youth, such that if that opportunity comes and we are the people in power at all levels, how can we contribute towards that? Even before being in power, what can we do using the already available rights we have as individuals to make sure we bring about positive change in our societies, regardless of whether you're in public sector or you are a private worker, you're a self-employed person, you're working in a certain company or any other thing. You are a youth, you will become the next CEO, you become the next manager. How can you now be a leader in that position? Of course, with the focus on politics, but this can go even to lower and lower levels. So the conversation, I believe, is very fruitful for you and I. And please tap that like button and share to a friend. We are still sailing smoothly as we come towards the end of this mighty drive show, but we are still in this conversation and you can be part of it. You can even call in direct in studios. You even leave your comments. If time allows, we will go through them. Even some other time we shall be forwarding these questions to these individuals, and if possible we invite them here once again in studios. Now I am asking you, Mr. Abeneitwe, the youth have been involved in violence for so much, and this could be our last question. The youth, the government and the security organs say the youth are being used to for violence, to bring violence, loot people's property by these politicians. How best can the youth avoid violence in whatever they do to make sure they are not termed as violent people, but rather be seen as people who want positive change in their societies? In a few seconds before we wind up.
Well, thank you so much. You know, when you speak about violence or youth being the champions of violence in the country, to a smaller extent, we have seen such happen, where in a demonstration, you know, people's property is tampered with, you know, looting. But those are a few elements that come in and organize the demonstration. Because as the youth, we understand how to peacefully demonstrate when we need things to be done or changed. But along the way, and when you start up a physical demonstration, you know, you don't stop people from joining you. So a few elements come in there and then maybe do all such kind of violence in an organized group. But you know, we can't say the youth are the champions of violence in this country. And maybe even most of the times you find that the security organs are the ones that get violent onto the youth and make the situation worse. And at the end, they say they are the youth who are so violent. Because we have seen our security organs being violent themselves. When you look at the Kawempe North by-election, which I was so much involved in, supporting our flag bearer for FDC, Muchibi Sadati, Aganaga, you know, what happened in there in that process of the election and campaigns, you know, the security organs being violent themselves, you know. So it's not, we shouldn't put it on to youth that they are the champions of violence in this country.
Your last message to our viewer.
Thank you so much. Our campaigns have already started. I'm good to go and seek support from the delegates of Western Region. Viewers, thank you so much for being with us. To the youth of Western Region, especially the delegates, I offer myself to you as a beacon of hope, in not only actually in Western Region, but in the entire country. Because being a member of parliament, I will not only serve the youth of Western Region, neither will I only put on board under legislation, as you know, the work of an MP, what helps only the youth of Western Region. Oh, it will be all the youth in the entire country. So I kindly request for your support. Come 6th of February next year, and I am your own. I'm your own. What you face is what I face. I know what we go through. River on the over-monetization. You eat the money. When money comes, you eat the money, but understand that we need our voice to be heard. Because my slogan is action time, youth agenda. And maybe lastly, I want to thank the management of Digitalk TV, led by Executive Director Norman Tumuhimbise. is one of the young leaders that we looked up to as we were growing, joining the national politics, because he has always been a champion of changing the status quo where things are not right. He speaks up to now, and I'm so glad that you have such a leader at Digitalk TV.
All right. Thank you so much. Of course, we can't add anything from there. I believe you have enjoyed this discussion. The Mighty Drive is ending here. I'm Kenneth Rwemirembe. See you next time.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.